If you are a baller trying to make it into the game, the Pogmentary, the documentary is something you need to watch. The documentary went into so many different things and so many things that I feel that can help so many players trying to make it in the game of football. It showed the time before Manchester United, him trying to generate a career from nothing to something. Him then joining Manchester United. From that moment, then moving to Juventus and the things that happened. And how the lessons that he learned along the way, I'm able to now have this show, able to make this video, and to be able to give it all to you.
They picking sides, they crossing the line. I stick to the truth, I'm one of a kind. Gave it a God and follow his signs. Now all of a sudden I'm stuck in my prime. I'm wishing them well, I threw them a dime. They stuck in the shell, they drowning with time. You see the game, we still undefined. If they coming at us, they better rewind.
Aspiring footballers, this is one of those videos that you need to pay attention to. Pogba kind of laid down an amazing blueprint in the Pogmentary. And I'm just going to go through it now because I feel like there's so many things that you can take away if you are trying to maneuver in the game of football. If you're trying to maneuver in the academy of football, I think this documentary, the Pogmentary, is one of those documentaries that every young footballer needs to pay attention to. Now, one of the things that I think that separates, for me, Pogba to a lot of aspiring footballers in this world, especially the ones who I would say are from the UK or their systems in the UK and the way they're set up, Pogba has kind of shown what it really takes. And one of the biggest things that I found Pogba mentioning so much, and it was just this one key word of just goals. Every episode that he mentioned, it was goals. This goal, it needs to be achieved. I still got goals to want to get to. Do you know how important having goals are? And I feel like a lot of us, we grew up in the system and we grew up in the academy and we don't really set those goals. We just tend to play football and just enjoy it the way we want to. The hunger, the desire, the things that Pogba put in place to be able to be where he is, a lot of footballers can take and a lot of academy ballers can take and really put that into action. And I think it could change the narrative of how many players make it, the level you guys reach. Because what I find is a lot of players in the UK, do you really hear them say, I want to be the best footballer in the world? Have you really heard one say that? I'm not sure if I have. The tenacity, the hunger, the vision, the way that Pogba strives to be the best footballer he can be. I think so many fans get him wrong. Because he has a brand, because he has a personality, because he does stuff off the pitch. I think so many people get him wrong. One of the things was goal setting. And I want to start off there and really kind of go into the goals that Pogba put in place, the goals that Pogba tried to achieve. From a young kid, he has aspired to be a footballer. Put himself in the places where, coming from where you don't have much, I think that ignited a fire in him to want to give his all. Because there's no other choice. It's either being a footballer or nothing. And he gave everything he had to the game of football. And how we did that was setting goals. And being able to set goals gives you the direction to be the best footballer you can be. It gives you a direction to have something to strive for. And that's what Pogba set for himself. Even with setbacks and things that happened, he had a goal. And a goal was there for him to go forward, maintain, and achieve. What was amazing to see about that documentary is the work that he does off the pitch. How dedicated he is to his goals. Not just his goals as a footballer, but it was his goals as a footballer, as a family man, a husband, a friend. All these things around him, having that, like I said to you, that goal for him to strive towards. And I think a lot of footballers need to take that into consideration. So one of the first things I want to take away from the Pogmentary, and especially for you young aspiring ballers, is make sure you set goals. And Pogba was able to make a lot of things happen. Even in the documentary, he showed that there's this academy called Clairefontaine that he didn't get into. And at first he was upset, but he said because his goal was there, he had the goal that he wanted to achieve. It never stopped him. A lot of us get stopped by our setbacks. A lot of us get put in our places where, you know, we get told no, and that's the end. It's not the end. Your no's turn into lessons. Your no turns into the reason why you then strive to do more. The next thing about the Pogmentary that really stood out to me was how Pogba knew his value. And so many of us get into the situation. Listen, I am pumped for this one. So many of us get into the situation where, You know, we allow others to dictate where we go. We allow other things to dictate where we should be. And we really misunderstand what our value is. We don't look around and see certain circumstances and certain situations that's happening. Now, we all saw that Pogba, and we all know if we're football fans, we saw the incidents with Pogba going to Juventus. And a lot of people strived and thought, oh, it's about money. Oh, it's about... And it really wasn't. It was really about Pogba understanding what his value was. And the fact of the matter is, Alex Ferguson didn't see the value that Pogba had, the value that Pogba set for himself. Pogba saw it. Pogba had the vision. And again, this is where we link back to the first thing that we take from the documentary is goals. So we link that to Pogba had a goal and he knew his value. And the whole reason why Pogba wanted to go to Juventus wasn't because of money. It's because he wanted to play. And he didn't see that he was going to play at Manchester United. Also, in the documentary, he spoke about one of his biggest things is having that relationship with his managers, his coaches, his colleagues. And he just felt that with Alex Ferguson, that wasn't there. So what I want you to take from that is to know your value. Understand the value you bring. Value is important. And if you feel like you have that value and you're giving all the value you can give, sometimes where you're at, they don't appreciate the value you have. Some of the academies and the clubs and the coaches you play for, unfortunately, they don't value you. They don't see the value that you may have because they may be distracted by other things or another player or whatever it may be. And like I said, Pogba understood his value. So that's one thing I want to take from this documentary and give to you guys is know your value. Because if Pogba never knew his value, he wouldn't have gone to Juventus. He would have signed for Manchester United. And would Pogba be the Pogba we have today? Likelihood is the answer is going to be no. Let's be totally honest about it. Pogba went to Juventus and he absolutely smashed it. Absolutely smashed it. Became this driving force of a player that he was able to learn, was able to grow, because guess what? He knew his value. If you have low value, work on increasing it. If you feel like your value is there and you feel like you're able to be able... Look at Jadon Sancho, for example. I know we're talking about Pogba, but let's just take Jadon Sancho, for example, with Manchester City. He knew his value, he knew what he was capable of, and he knew that, you know what, Man City doesn't appreciate this value. So he went to Borussia Dortmund, and now this is why Jadon Sancho has a career today. So again, understand your value, know your value. If you need to up it, build it. Take the time and put the time into yourself to really build and understand and know your worth and your value as a baller, as a player, especially in these academies. It is so important because it contributes to the decisions that you make. It contributes to, do I sign this contract as a scholar or not? Am I able to go to a different club that may be able to appreciate my value more than where I am? Could I make it somewhere else instead of here? Does my style of play fit where I am? Again, know your value. It's the most important thing, is understanding that value. The next thing that I want to get into is building a team. Really watching this documentary really made me understand how important having that team around you. And I spoke about it in the first video. And that was one of the advice that I would give. If I was ever to be asked by anybody, what advice would you give? Build a team. Pogba is where he is, not just because of the talent he possesses, not just the goals that he set and the value that he set. He's also got the team around him to facilitate making that goal and those dreams happen. You know, the way his mum, the role his mother played, the role that his brothers played, the role that his father played, the role that Mina Raiola, his agent, plays. He even had an amazing lawyer, Rafaela, she's been with him from day one, to the point where Pogba calls her his second mother. On top of that, he's met someone as in a girlfriend called Zule Pogba. He's got a family and kids with her. The support system around him is there. He even has a performance coach that comes to his house. Make sure that he's on top of his game. Not when he's just in the training ground, also when he's off in the training ground. Pre-seasons, time off. He's always working on his game. He's so dedicated to the cause. And the reason why he's able to do so is because he's been able to build a team. Now, everybody's probably will look at me and say, well, he's got the money to do so. Go check out the first video. I'm going to link it in the iCard above when I'm saying this. Your team doesn't have to be somebody who is expensive, who you've never met before. It could just be your mother. It could just be your friend who is a personal trainer, who is a performance coach. It could just be your friend who's able to give you that support system. the people you pick in your life. Build the team around you, the infrastructure to make it happen. Another thing that I noticed in the Pogmentary with building that team is how dedicated each and every team member was. Every team member was dedicated to Pogba's cause. What Pogba's dream was, what Pogba aspired to, is the same thing that these people understood. Mino Raiola, his agent, said, how I attack this situation is, if it was my son, what would I do? How would I manage the situation? This Pogmentary really opened up my eyes to really understanding how an academy player can really make it. Like the story Pogba told, the way he went about it, it was really amazing to see. Understanding that so many people will give negative reviews about it because Pogba has a personality. That's who he is. That's the culture where he's from. That's a lot of where we're from. It's the cultures we all possess. We all are more than just a person. I always say football is the occupation, but who we are is something different. And Pogba really embodied so many different things. Last but not least, I kind of want to go into the dedication he gives. And I know I said this at the start, but it weren't just the dedication in just football. It was the dedication in every aspect of his life. He dedicated to being the best footballer he can be. And that was the number one priority. But then after that, it was all the other things that mattered, and all the other things that really mattered to him contributed to him being a footballer, having his family around, being a family person, eliminating distractions. It was really amazing to see. Even just to hear that his first car was a Volkswagen Polo. So many of you guys will get lost in the sauce when you first get some money and want to buy a Mercedes, Audi, whatever brand of a car you want to buy. Who cares? A car's a car at that point. Because guess what? The main goal is that this is what I'm dedicated to. I want to become a footballer. So my money, my time, my mentality, everything goes into being the best footballer I can be. Are you dedicated to the cause? This is what this documentary showed me. This is what the Pogmentary showed me. Are you dedicated to the cause? Do you eat, breathe, sleep it? Is your support system right? Do you know your value? All these things made Pogba who he is today. All the setbacks that happened. Setbacks is setbacks, but it's there to set you up for a major comeback. Put yourself in these positions. Even when he was injured, seeing him go out to Dubai, because that's going to make his recovery quicker. All these little things, it's the attention to detail that I think Pogba really put into his career from such a young age. Well, I think that's what sets Pogba apart from the rest. That's why Pogba at 19 was able to do what he needed to do. He understood the journey. He understood the assignment. Pogba understood the assignment. The assignment was, this is my goals. I want to be the best footballer I can be. My hunger and desire is there. And I don't care how many times I get told no. I'm going to know my value. I'm going to put the work in to produce that value and be able to now be where Pogba is. Pogba can now have that brand of who Pogba is because of the groundwork he put in before, because of the things he put in place. What I watched and what I saw was the epitome of what loads of young footballers could look at and really become who they need to become. Not the brand side, not the fact that he has, you know, a football pitch in his hometown, or not the fact that he's got major brand deals with Adidas and this and that. Not that. Try not to watch if you're a baller, try not to watch the documentary for those things. Watch the Pogmentary for how he made it. The things he put in place, the dedication, the team, knowing his value. All these things that he put in place is the reason why Pogba is where he is, and he's allowed to be able to do what he needs to do.
They picking sides, they crossing the line. I stick to the truth, I'm one of a kind. Gave it a God and follow his signs. Now all of a sudden I'm stuck in my prime. I'm wishing them well, I threw them a dime. They stuck in the shell, they drowning with time. You see the game, we still undefined.